Welcome back, lads and ladies, to the second episode today of the Rugby World Cup 2022. The last quarterfinals against it's Canada versus USA today. Looking like another repeat of the 2014 World Cup final. Canada are leading by 32 points at the 10-minute mark to USA's 11. Honestly, I feel really bad for USA because they've been showing very good defense against Canada. It took them a good 40-odd minutes or so to really get through each other's lines. They were feeling each other out for most of the game itself. That was a horrible chip kick from USA straight into Canada's arms. It's like small stuff like that that kind of led them to go through and score tries and stuff like that. I mean, yes, take risky plays, but at least put some oomph behind it. Yeah, like that tackle that the USA last did on the Canadians there. But this is really all down to experience and heart the Canadians are showing off, really. Canada are just showing a very dominant game here against USA. They were able to tie for a little bit. USA were just behind Canada going into the half time, around about by 3 points. They were just behind Canada by 3 points. And then 20 minutes after the second half started, then Canada started to really pick up and start putting on the pressure, really. Canada are just showing utter dominance, really, within these small passes here and there. Just small little moments of magic, and that chip kick was great. Caught, unfortunately, by the USA captain. It's back in Canada's hands after a misinterpretation pass. It's been intercepted, I should say. Nice little tackle there by USA. They're going to pass off to the wing now, but she comes back on the inside. She's not able to break through just yet. And by the way, I forgot to mention, whoever is facing who on the day of the quarterfinals, they'll face each other. So yesterday it was New Zealand and France that came out on top, so those two will face each other in the semi-finals. And England and whoever wins this today will face each other in the semi-finals. Sorry, not the finals, the semi-finals. So, thankfully, fingers crossed, we have Canada or USA. It gives our girls time of rest. It gives some of the ones that we're saving for the final to really focus and work out those kinks that we have, that we had at least for the Australian game. So yes, it's going to be very interesting to see how we handle Canada going into face France or New Zealand, really. Part of me kind of wants us to face France in the final. Not just because of our street record against France, but France, honestly, are building something, and they could be the team to actually topple England within the near future. Oh, handbags here. Yeah, frustration. Let it out on each other in the locker room, not out on the field. Come on, time's wasting.
And that's just utter frustration for the USA, isn't it? No doubt Canada will
just having a look on the TMO to see what happens. I think maybe Canada started instigation. Let's see. Yeah, the Canadian did something. And then 12 came over and started pushing, and then everyone else got involved. Hugs all around for the Canadian side. They're having a substitution. Canada have been very strong this year. They've been doing very well. Honestly, if Canada or England won the World Cup, I'd be happy with it, because the Canadians really are a lovely team and a brilliant team to watch whenever they go against one another. Jesus Christ, she's got some badunka. I'm sorry, I was distracted by one of Alessa's bottoms. It's like, whoop. My apologies. Don't you start that whole misogyny crap and all that crap. Come on now, women. I've seen you look at those men with their bleeming burly arse shoulders and their biceps the size of Bournemouth, so don't start me on that one. You can appreciate a beautiful body when you see one.
78 metres.
scrum to USA for this one now. It's a good set scrum by USA, but it's being pushed back slightly by Canada's left to get it out quickly. They throw it off to the left wing. They're going to try and run with it. They managed to make a good 7 or 8 metres, but they get up and run again because Canada didn't bother to go over her body to keep her on the floor. What the fuck? She like flew over her body. What the hell?
Let's just finish with something, wouldn't they? The USA here.
The thing I like with this USA team over the men's USA team is that they focus too much on foreign talent and a little bit too much on what's his name? Perry Bateman? He's like America's fastest winger. I can't remember his name, so forgive me if I can't remember his name, but they did like this one match against South Africa where he was being chased by it was either Cheslin Colby or Brian Habana. I think it might have been Cheslin Colby. It might have been Habana, I'm not so sure. Anyway, he has the ball, he's running with it, and Cheslin or Habana can't catch him. Like, he can't keep up with him. Perry is like one of those talented athletes that if he went onto the athletics field to do 100 metres, I think he would really like prosper there. But instead he chose rugby, and it's a good thing he did because he sparked some type of interest in rugby over in the USA, which is really hard to do because Americans are a little bit in their own bubble when it comes to things that are out of their country, which kind of makes me laugh because it's like this video I saw one time where, you know, it shows each country's like accomplishments, and in the NFL every single year it's always an American that wins it because the joke is that the NFL is just an American sport basically, you know, whereas in baseball they get to face like other countries like Japan and stuff like that, but it's mostly still just America. So it's like, what are you, World Cup champ? And then they call it a World Cup championship. And I'm like, what world did you go against to win this? Like, it's just America. I think the few World Cups that they did win, like they did win the World Cup recently for football. Or was it England? No, the English women, they won the Euros recently, and then in a friendly match we managed to beat USA, which is like the World Cup winners USA basically. So an awful lot of those women who won the World Cup a few years back are still in that team basically. So the fact that our girls managed to beat them for the World Cup, it's saying something, which means we've got a good side for the women to win our World Cup basically, which is a good thing. And it's the same here with England with the Red Roses. They've now pushed their streak to 29, I believe, and if we win against Canada next week, that'll be 30, a 30 streak win, and if we win the World Cup, that's 31 streaks, and then it will just carry on from there, if we're lucky. So the Red Roses are really shaping up to be the greatest rugby team in the world, basically. It's just lovely to see. It's just lovely to see my country like prosper in a sport that they created basically, whereas in cricket and other sports there are so many other talented nations that show great grit and determination in whatever sport they do basically. But it's nice, it shows the competitiveness, but it's just nice to see our girls really prosper within the beautiful sport of rugby basically. It's not without hard work as well. Our girls work hard every single day, and it shows. Just like the Canadians are doing right now. It's 2 minutes out, and they're still pushing this line out, this rolling maul. It's passed off into the inside of the Canadian, but it's tripped. Someone's tripped and dropped the ball. For some reason it didn't go forward, so I guess that's fine. Canada have all the numbers here. Throw it to the wing. They're going to try and go for the try line, but she's had to drop it backwards. She was about to get dragged over to the line. They go backwards by a couple of metres, but USA are barging through, trying to take the ball back, and they've got it back. They've turned the ball over. Now it's in America's quarter to do whatever they wish with it. Very good section here, very good fight, but they have to throw it back to kick it away for some breathing room. That was very good from the USA to stop that halt from the Canadians. Beautiful catch there from the winger. If she'd have just ran into the Americans, she might have been able to make the try line. Honestly, if she'd have put her hand behind her head, she could have gotten the try, but bless her heart, she was thinking about, what if I get pulled out? So she threw it backwards for someone else to take. Good thinking there, very good thinking. It's now Canada's line out. Nearly equal tackles. Canada only have 20 less tackles than USA. It just shows that USA have been putting in the work. They've been defending all throughout the first half and into the early stages of the second half, only to then wane because of exhaustion. Exhaustion is the biggest killer in a game for rugby players. If you ain't fit up there, then you will lose games left, right and centre. Canada have been pushing through the line, but it's not worked. USA have a very strong wall Donald Trump will be proud of. Canada now have the opportunity to really pick and go. They're picking and going every single moment they get. This is their way of like working down the defence, breaking it down and keeping America's exhaustion levels at an all-time low. 5 seconds left into this game. They're in the sixth phase. Canada might possibly be able to break through if they can just find that line break.
This USA side will go Canada into the semi-final.
They're going to kick it out to end the game. Canada win.
Puts the ball out and Canada are delighted. And Canada doing what Canada have done this World Cup. They've been efficient, they've been physical.
Deserved to Canada. Very well done.
It is they who win this quarter-final against their nearest and dearest.
Heartbreak for America, but hey, they made it to the quarters. They did well. Must be heartbreaking to lose in the pool stages and to lose in the quarters against the same team that knocked you out of the pools, really. But yeah, congratulations to Canada. They've definitely deserved it. They've earned it. They've earned their place amongst the top four. It's just unfortunate that they have to go against the Red Roses. Oh, bless her. Bless her heart. I know, it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking, bless her. No, you can be proud, darling. You can be proud. You and your team have showed good defence. They've shown really good heart in that game, bless them. Oh, bless them. But yeah, that was the quarterfinals between Canada and USA, which means next week we will be going against Canada for our chance to then go against whoever is in the finals, New Zealand or France. Whoever it will be, we're coming for you. Red Roses are coming for you. All right. With that, lads and ladies, thank you ever so much again for joining me for another lovely bit of rugby. I absolutely love rugby. I love to talk about rugby. I love to commentate about rugby. I think what I'll do maybe in the future is I'll cover a couple of the Autumn Nation games if I can get on top of them. They're very hard to get. Sometimes you need to like go through paywalls and stuff like that, which I don't like doing. I just prefer to watch games, you know, that are free to the public, or, you know, I'll look on the internet for them basically, because with these paywalls that you get, they then open up to bigger deals, and then I just don't want to deal with that crap, you know. It's just stupid. Like having to like really go through all of this like crap just to watch a game you love is kind of stupid, really. You know, it's become so mainstream that it's now a business, unfortunately, and I've never looked at rugby as a business basically. Whenever we'd have like our games at our school, we'd always have them in the open grounds, you know. Usually schools are meant to be private, but we had ours out in the open basically for people to watch whenever they chose to, really, because, you know, it's a sport. People love to watch, you know, a sport. So I've never believed that about hiding something that you love to see behind a paywall basically. It's just not nice to see, really. Which is nice to see when you've got a country that has money compared to someone like a country that has passion. It's like when you look at like football in Europe compared to USA, which they call soccer. In soccer, they have the money to like produce it and all that stuff. Like everything in America is a bit overproduced. Like it's all based around money. Whereas in Europe, it's all about the fans. It's all about the people that come out to really show their love for the sport that they wish to do and wish to see, basically, which is nice. Yes, there are some odd bits of violence and stuff like that, but that's just part of the game. That's part of the game, unfortunately. That's usually what happens in sports. Sometimes you get injuries, sometimes fans get involved, and then it just devolves from there, basically. So it's a coin, basically. There's two sides of it on every coin, basically. But yeah, sorry for overextending this outro, but yeah, I just want to say again, thank you for joining me with these lovely little videos that I like to put out for you guys. So my next video will either be another Rugby 20 video or a tattoo story time. It will probably be a tattoo story time because I really need to talk about my arm, what's been going on with it, my health update and all that stuff, because I've had a little bit of a scare with this because I thought it was something that it wasn't. Thankfully it's not, and the antibiotics are just helping just fine with it. I feel a bit sickly. I don't think the penicillin is working well with me, which is probably the one downside of it. But apart from that, at least it's keeping something bigger at bay, and I'll talk about that in the tattoo story time as I'll show off my arm tattoo when I get the opportunity. So, well, lads and ladies, thank you ever so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye bye. Love you. See ya. Bye.